Just going to give everyone a few minutes to join. We might have just a couple people adding in a bit late. So let's just give everybody about 1 more minute before we jump right into the agenda topics today. All right, now that more people have joined, let's just go ahead and get started. So here is kind of the new format. I think somebody's echoing. Okay, here's kind of the new format that we're testing this month, where we said that we will try at the end of each month, and we'll give some swarm updates, and then for everybody to add additional agenda topics. Are there any volunteers to take notes for today first? Anyone? All right, I guess I will just go ahead and try to take notes. Let me quickly just open a sheet quickly before we do get in. 1 second.
Sorry, Johnny, I can probably help take notes if you're going to be doing other stuff.
Okay, that would be great. Let me just quickly get here.
Can you put the notes link in the chat?
There, I just created one, so hopefully that works.
Yep, cool.
Awesome. Okay, okay, so core updates. Rachel is out today, so I guess, is there anybody on the core team who can give some updates? I know Hester had a question regarding Realm, but it looks like Eric is also out, so Eric gave a quick update on it. Short update, Realm is very close to be completely removed. Only non-security critical data is still stored. 4 small services are required to replace them. Probably will be finished by the end of the week and integrated next week. So there's Hester's update on that. And I believe there was another question from Core about, 1 second, the 64-bit issue. Does anybody have an update on that they can give the group?
Yeah, I can give a quick update.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, so we are focused on V1 code freeze mostly, and most of the work is done, and multi-accounts implemented. Most data moved to status go, and as Eric wrote, there is like few services left to do, and finally we have 46-bit version working on Android, but it requires the Realm removement, so we need to remove Realm first, and then I hope we will have the working 64-bit version. And also we are working on security tasks. And next I think few weeks, I will continue work on security tasks.
Great. Does anybody else from core want to quickly speak on any updates that the team might have? All right, if not, then we can jump right into design, which Hester is not on the call. She'll be actually, let's push design to the end of the updates because Hester will be joining us in a bit. So Oscar is also not here. Guy Louis provided an update already on KeyCard since he is also out. So everybody can go ahead and take a look at this. KeyCard integration is okay for code freeze. KeyCard integration backlog is here, so make sure to check that out if you're interested. Research efforts ongoing for using KeyCard in Trustless Payment Network. Discuss posts will be coming soon, and they're also preparing for DEF CON 5 KeyCard workshop. All right. What about Yuri? Yuri, do you have any updates for us for Embark and Teller?
We're working on the next version, which is version 5. For the Teller, well, first we did updates. Oh yeah, this is the last month. Yeah, we did updates in the UI with Simon's new designs, and this past week at Berlin, there was live testing of the UX with the different participants, which was filmed and everything. So I guess we're going to go through the feedback we got from that and the improvements. We also been working for stuff needed for DEF CON. So there's this library that we developed for the Teller. We're working on a presentation soon for DEF CON and also in the Embark workshop.
Cool.
More. All right.
Is that it?
Yeah, that sums it up.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Thanks, Yuri. All right.
Hey, you give links for those presentations?
Oh, yeah. I think Hester might have them. And Yuri, do you might have them? Because I did see Hester and Simon at F Berlin this weekend.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in some sort of SaaS software, so I'm not too sure how to add it to the notes, because you need an invitation, login, and that kind of thing.
I'll follow up with you, Yuri.
All right.
Okay. Jumping into the next Swarm update was security infra. Corey and Jakob, do you have any updates that you can share?
Yeah, I got some stuff. I'll fill in the notes later on that. Let's see. Both security and infrastructure. I put a discuss post on a decision we need to make regarding the switch over from LastPass to Bitwarden. If we go with, I originally wanted to do self-hosted Bitwarden accounts across the company, which means that we basically host all the infrastructure associated with storing the secrets and sharing the secrets, which is just our own instantiation of all the Bitwarden software. If we do that, then people who currently use Bitwarden or would like to use Bitwarden for personal cases can't share the status organization within their personal organizations. And so it kind of makes a slightly higher barrier of entry for people who want to use stuff like this for their personal use. A big goal of mine was to try and make this as easy as possible for people to have personal password managers and seamlessly use all status secrets while we can control them, and just kind of annoying. So we either have to make the decision to keep that in terms of doing self-hosted, or use their hosted solution, which is a bit cheaper because you don't have to pay for infrastructure, and allow for the kind of ease of use between personal use and work use. So if anyone has any hard opinions on that, I'd like to hear them now. Otherwise, I'm leaning towards their hosted solution, so we can share that stuff.
As you ask, Corey, I have a question on that. Is the self-hosted solution, do you see primarily a barrier when setting up the self-hosted solution, or is it going to be like, do you have any concerns about like currently people using it?
I'm sorry, I don't understand. It's set up now. It's just a matter of if you were to use it, say you were using Bitwarden and you wanted to use, and we wanted to share a password with you, a status organization password, you'd have to completely sign up with a new username and account. And for any of the clients you use on Bitwarden, you have to point it to our implementation, which is secrets.status.im.
Got it. But that's something you do once, right?
It was something you do once, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Just as a consideration.
Unless you wanted to use your personal account. If you wanted to reuse your personal account, you have to point it back over to vault.bitwarden.com. Mm-hmm. So to go back and forth between personal and status. But if we use the hosted account, it's all under one account, and we would just sign you up with whatever your personal account is. I guess I should further say that if we tear this down, you would lose all of your personal accounts. Whereas with the hosted solution, you just lose access to the status organization and you keep all your personal stuff.
Yeah, no strong opinions, to be honest. I was mostly curious about like whether it's like the ease of use is going to be an issue. Like as you say now, like every time you switch between your personal account and status accounts, or if it is a one-time setup, and like once it's set up, the toggling between the two is relatively easy. That would make a difference to me, but I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, but what you probably have to end up doing is dedicate a certain browser, like only Chromium uses the status organization one, so you don't have to switch back and forth. Mm-hmm. But that's still, so I mean, that's what I currently do with some of the LastPass stuff that we do now until it's switched over, but it's somewhat annoying. I'd rather have it all under one UI. And I want to note the security of this is the exact same. I mean,
you also mentioned that it's a bit cheaper too to have it on the hosted thing. Is it significantly cheaper?
The only difference in costs is the actual like cloud deployment we have, which is relatively minimal based on the amount of like, it's a small instance, so it's almost negligible.
Okay, so like cost savings too would be a thing to factor.
Yeah.
Jakob,
also, well, there is also the I guess the fact that we have to secure it. So right now we don't have a lot of critical infrastructure in terms of holding secrets. This changes that a little bit. But we already have a solution for managing that. So that's also, it's just something to look out for. Okay. Whereas if we use the hosted service, we're offloading that security responsibility to Bitwarden and hoping that they can manage that appropriately.
Jakob here posted in the chat channel how many people actually use Bitwarden already.
We have 20 seats. And I don't think we'll need more than that.
Okay, well, actually, somebody sent me an email earlier today asking for access, and we've already hit 20, so that would actually be 21.
Well, another part about this is that I would like that to be more. And in the future, as we need to share various things, I would like it to be as easy as possible for someone to be able to do this, as opposed to like, I don't know. I would love the entire company using password managers. I mean, they don't have to be Bitwarden, but something. And if the way we do it makes it easier for people to do that, then that's what I want to do.
Are we limited to only 20 slots?
For sharing, yes. So right now we're limited to 20 slots for sharing the status organization, but I mean, we can ramp that up.
Okay.
That can be dynamically changed.
Okay, that's good to know. Anybody else have any discussion or ideas on Bitwarden?
Regarding the use of multiple profiles, the browser have some options to deal with that. So you can switch, like you can have your personal stuff in a tab. In another tab, you can have other things. So another profile. depends in what browser you use, and also there is some extensions that could improve that experience.
Yeah, it's just extra steps. I mean, there are solutions to getting around logging into multiple things under one browser. It's just extra stuff. And the more difficulty you have doing security things, the less likely people are actually going to use it. I mean, I know it's more secure to do certain things, but if people don't use it, or they try and do shortcuts in order to get around it, then it defeats a lot of the purpose.
So I don't quite understand what is the downside of just because of sharing like the personal stuff, using for personal passwords. If you use there in the status thing, you might lose that. So you should not use. That would be the only downside, or there is any other?
Yeah, it's a bit more cumbersome to use, and if you use the status implementation, like if we do self-hosted and you just use that for your personal accounts too, if we were to shut it down or do something with the license, then you would lose all your personal accounts, which is just, it's annoying. I would like it to be, if we do something, you don't lose your passwords. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Yeah, but like it's like they're putting something on our vault, like
Yeah.
or you're putting your passwords in status vault, like let's say that this way. So the users should expect that to happen, and if they happen to lose the access to this vault, they should first withdraw whatever they have inside of there. So I think that this is like the downside is part of the design. So it's better because we also have more control of our data rather than giving to other people, like in other servers. I think that in general, I totally agree with using a self-hosted option.
Okay. Can you make a note of that on the discuss post?
Sure.
I don't think it's worth it to do it based on the difference between hosted and self-hosted, because we can back things up appropriately.
So how about we give everyone to the end of this week to add additional comments on the discuss post, and then just kind of see what people's takes are from there. If there's like a strong for self-hosted versus hosted. And then if there's not really any opinion, I guess, Corey, it's best judgment. Are there any more additional updates from security and infrastructure that you guys wanted to give updates on?
Nothing outside of what people already understand about the audit. So September 30th, and the details are also in a different discuss post. So if you have any questions about that, I can answer those too.
Cool. And what about you, Jakob? Anything? All right, let's jump. Anna, do you have anything for QA?
Yeah, just small update. All test teams working on testing status mobile app, so mostly pull requests. I would like, this is the first topic. Second one is I would like everyone who knows some other language besides English to look into our localized project and to start reviewing the translations done in your language. I don't know, French, German, any other. Because localization, it takes time. Community provides input for translations, but because we as co-contributors know better the app and understand better the context, it would be super helpful to review the proposed translations and correct them. So we have Jinho, who is handling localization and translation, and you can also check in testing chat, for example, if you have any questions. That's it.
Great idea. All right, and Hester, we saved design for you for the end. So is there anything that you can just quickly update us? Here, I know you have your written.
Yes,
Here?
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's basically me reading out the update. So we're taking some much needed vacation. Apologies if responses to PRs have some delay. We're kind of toggling between Maciej being out on vacation now, Andre just being back, and myself and Simon being in Berlin last week. Another update is we've been testing Teller, as in our crypto, Fiat Crypto exchange DApp. We tested it over the weekend, for which we'll share the findings soon. If you want to see any recordings, and I would encourage you to check some of them out, because they obviously also show integration with the client, or basically with the core application itself. If you want to see any recordings, then ping me so I can give you access. Other than that, onboarding illustrations are coming up. We were looking to develop 5 illustrations that are supposed to explain some of the key concepts of our application during onboarding in a nice illustrative visual matter. We have 4 out of 5 of those illustrations now, so they're coming along nicely, and Maciej is doing an amazing job in kind of directing the agency for the visual translation of our concepts. Then here indeed a link to a presentation I gave last week, last Monday at a Metacartel demo day, on basically on how can we nudge people into a Web3 mental model, helping them understand what's different. We're also still looking for a UI engineer to help with some UI fixes, but we do have some promising leads at the moment. Working on that with Jonathan and Rachel. And then just like looking forward, because we have these calls once a month now, we have a long wish list of potential design projects. So especially lately, some issues have come up that we can't resolve at this point in time. We add them to our wish list of this needs more more thought put into it. We'll prioritize those issues once we're together in Istanbul. So I hope to share a bit more of a detailed list of what we'll be working on after that. That's my update.
Great, thanks, Esther. Really cool stuff. I kind of got like some insight into Teller, so I think everybody should definitely check it out. Okay, that is it for all of our Swarm updates. Additional agenda topics. Nabil, I think you wanted to mention something about the engagement survey?
Yeah, 2 things. So one is, please fill out the engagement survey. If you don't see it in your inbox, it's in your spam folder, or it's in the newsletter. It's also in Discuss. Please fill it out. It's anonymous. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes. Like, it's not very long at all. So please, please fill it out. It's incredibly useful. And then we'll have a follow-up call once we have all the responses, we've managed to kind of cluster them together. We'll have a follow-up call. The other thing that I wanted to discuss, which maybe we don't have all the right people in the room here, is the priorities between now and the end of, since we have basically an extra month, what should the application team focus on? I'll probably bring that up maybe in the janitors call tomorrow when we have Rachel and Oscar on the line as well. So that's the main thing I wanted to, I think it's important for us to make sure that we make use of the fact that we have an extra month to prioritize and work on the right things.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Bill. As far as updates and everything, does anybody else have anything that they wanted to discuss, bring up, or have questions or comments on? I know a few people are missing today, but if there's nothing, I guess we can just keep this call to 30 minutes today. And like we mentioned, with Corey's post, you can comment on Discuss for additional follow-up. And yeah, if there's nothing else, I guess then we can end the call early today.
Okay, awesome. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks,
Thanks for
everyone.
Danny.
Thanks, guys.
See you next month.
Bye.